This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds 278. We are recording on Wednesday, September 3rd, 2014. I'm Edie Sellers, a really exhausted Edie Sellers, as you can hear by my voice. With me is an equally exhausted Nick DiNicola and how's Holy Goalie doing?
Up or down. I have my good moments and bad moments still.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted to be there with you guys, I'm real happy that I didn't go.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I would have left the hotel room.
Yeah, it was exhausting. Wow, this was really tiring PAX.
Wasn't it 4 days out
4
there?
days. 4 days this time.
Ugh, that's too long.
No, it's not too long. It actually made for a really good PAX because that fourth day it was so much more relaxed because you weren't trying to stuff everything into 3 days. 4 days is just about right for the amount of games they had because, Nick, you and I know, we pretty much got our hands on everything.
Yeah.
Which is the first year that there was no big game that it's like we didn't play. The only thing we didn't do was The Evil Within.
Yeah.
But pretty much that was it. Sorry, I'm going to be clearing my throat a lot. My voice is just shot. And I forgot that I was thinking today was Tuesday because I'm a day off. And I'm sitting there and I just made coffee and I'm like, nice, relaxing day. I finally got a bunch of sleep and Kevin's home and we were sitting talking and comparing notes because he went to Burning Man. And we didn't have a lot of time to talk yesterday because we were with his mom. His mom needed to go to the ER as soon as we got home. So he was home. I waited for him for took him an hour and a half after me. I waited for him and then he was home 8 and then we got in the car and took her out to Walnut Creek to the emergency room. But so we were just hanging out, talking, catching up, and then I hear those, the air raid sirens that freak you out so much.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard the air raid siren. I'm like, air raid sirens? And I looked down at my watch and I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, it's Wednesday. Oh, no. And so I'm like, all right, got to go do a show. So that's why we're a little bit late, is I was off by a day. So, yeah, PAX Prime. Good year. Good year. What do you want to know? We saw it all. We interviewed it all. If they had someone there to be interviewed, we interviewed them. If they didn't, then we're gonna.
Let's start with the big stuff. So, what was the big thing there?
I
had to pick one or two, or maybe three monster things that were like, okay, that was the beef of the show.
That stole the show?
I don't want to say stole the show, but you know how there's always a big presence there from somebody?
Oh, there was a bunch of big presence. Microsoft and Xbox had a huge presence.
Okay.
Evolve had a huge presence. Alien had a huge presence. The Order had a huge presence.
Might be like Alien because it had a giant alien egg that you got inside to play the demo.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Evolve had that big ass statue.
Yeah, the same
same
statue.
Like a big screen hanging from the ceiling that would show tournaments. So there's always a crowd in front of Evolve watching the tournament.
Far Cry had a cage where you could dress up as your spirit animal and then wrestle somebody else with a spirit who's a spirit animal. sumo match. It wasn't like American wrestling where anybody get hurt. It was just a sumo wrestler. And the lines to get into that were like 2 hours long. And so that's why we didn't do it. Otherwise, I totally would have. Let's see, what else had a big presence? Shadow of Mordor had a very big presence.
Did it? I don't think it had a very big presence. It was one of the best games we saw.
It had a very big presence, a huge booth, but it wasn't like front and center. Like Evolve had prime real estate, Far Cry had prime real estate. So what do you want to know? Pick a game. We'll tell you all about it.
All right. So, well, let's go with Evolve then.
All right.
So what did you see? Anything different than PAX East? Has it been delayed again?
No. No delay. What was different from PAX East, and as you know, that's a 4v1 shooter where one person plays the monster, 4 people play hunters trying to kill the monster. The thing that they announced and that we played around with a little bit is that the 4 that are the hunters, there are 4 set classes. There was the medic, the tracker, assault, and support. And when we played it, there was only one character to play, which means you only had one set of skills for each of those classes. They've announced when at PAX East or PAX Prime, they had 2 sets, so you could choose. So you could say, all right, I'd rather, if I'm a tracker, I would rather have the traps, or I'd rather have the hunting dog. And the hunting dog, Daisy, was the shit. She was awesome. So you've got, but they did say that there's going to be 3 different characters. 3 different characters within each class. So in each of those characters have different skills, different abilities, different equipment. So you can kind of mix and match and play differently depending on what kind of skills that and equipment you have, which was cool. It kind of gives you a little bit. It mixes things up quite a bit, and they're going to have 3 different monsters as well, which equally have different abilities. So it's never going to be the same game twice, because there was that little bit of risk that if you have 4 set classes with always the same abilities, and only thing is that you would be able to, I would assume, level up those abilities so that they get stronger. It would, and only one kind of monster, it would get a little boring after a while, I would imagine. But being able to mix it up and play a different kind of character, a different kind of monster, it's kind of like you can pick your favorites and get used to playing a particular way. And then when you get bored with that, you can find another character and play a particular way. So, yep. Nick, any input?
Other than how cool Daisy is.
Daisy is
really.
Awesome. Daisy was great because she doesn't always take. Well, she's got upsides, downsides. Upside is she's a hunting dog. You let Daisy go, she will find that monster for you. Downside is that she will find the route that the monster took, so she might not necessarily take the shortest point from you to the monster. So if the monster made a big circle and is standing next to you, she'll take the big circle instead of just looking next to you. But definitely plays well, plays smooth. Very good game. Very good game.
Now, if I remember correctly, obviously it's 4 versus 1, so that's a total of 5 humans you can have. But from what I hear, that if you went in with 2 people, the computer, like Left 4 Dead, it would fill out the other spot, right?
Yeah.
And you could choose any of the 5 to play. So in other words,
right.
if me and you were playing, you could be monster, I could be hunter, and the computer would be the 3 other people with me.
Right, and that makes sense because you kind of need 4 people to.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if you don't need 5 to play it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could play it alone, you could play whatever. And that was what was so good about Left 4 Dead is that it would fill in with AI to help you out if you only had a couple of people.
Yeah, and it makes sense because there's no way that you could trap the monster unless you had a full contingent of hunters.
Yeah, so that's I always like that. You know, that way there, like, you know, because I love the beast mode in Gears of War 3, but you needed to have 5 people before the game would start.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you played it by yourself. And it was a nightmare sitting there waiting for the 4th and 5th guy sometime. It was like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Black Sphere Void in the chat room says, all right, who ordered the skunk for their spirit animal? There was a skunk. There was a skunk.
I think there was.
There was a skunk. I saw a skunk versus a honey badger. Honey badger is angry. Honey badger won't play that game. So, let's see. So yeah, Evolve, thumbs up. An interesting one is that in one of we did a massive 2-hour show in the hotel room after day 2 or 3. I can't remember. But we went over every single game that we saw and our opinions about it. And at that point, I was the only one who saw the Order 1886. And I was concerned. Nick and Piss Boy went back subsequently on the last day. In fact, I think it was our very last interview and our very last game that we put our hands on, and went back. No, Alien was, but still, we went back and talked to do the order. And you guys got your hands on the order, and you had a very different experience than I did.
Did we?
Yeah, I had huge misgivings, and I thought that the shooting mechanics, was very clunky.
Oh, I thought you meant like we got a different demo.
No, you had the same demo. The thing is that I saw it first thing on Friday morning during press hour, and nobody would explain to you how to run the guns. You kind of had to figure it out yourself, and I did figure it out eventually, but it took me a little while, and I think that might have had shaded my opinion of like, this seems very awkward. And the demo does come in the middle of the game. He made it clear it was right around Act 3. He wouldn't say how many acts there are, but he said it was right around Act 3 because the beginning of the game has some spoilers that they didn't want to spoil.
I'm surprised you guys haven't finished that since that was a launch title.
What?
The Order 1886.
What?
He's trolling us.
Okay. Sorry, you can get me right now. I'm so punchy.
Isn't that one of those that was supposed to come out at launch? And
was it? Was it a launch title?
It's been pushed back quite a bit.
It's been pushed back once that I know of. Nick, you're going to help me out here? Or you're just going to fall back asleep? Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't think Order was a launch title.
I think it was. I don't remember. I think it has been pushed back.
But Drive Club was a launch title.
Yes.
And we did get Drive Club.
Yeah.
The delays totally sour me. They do. And I know that, it's usually better when they delay it and the bugs are worked out and there's issues that come up, like that whole Elder Scrolls Online thing. But boy, it does just leave a sour taste in your mouth. And you almost don't care when it comes out sometimes because you're just like, oh, yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Like you kept teasing me and teasing me and teasing me, and now you're out. It's like, pfft.
Yeah. Well, it's like finding out, it's like, you're going to have a big party. We're going to have a big party next week, and we're going to have a big party. And then on Thursday, they're like, no, we've delayed that party
what was that
for
Steve
2 weeks.
What was that Steve Martin movie? I can't wait to have sex with you next Thursday. When the man with two brains.
Yep. God.
It's like,
wow, there's a throwback. It's like it takes a little of the edge off because you're ready and you're anticipating and you've got it all set and you're like, I'm looking forward to this, and then it delays. Yeah, I don't hold it against a game for delaying. Although a game was it, Nick, look it up. Was it a launch title? I don't think it was.
You really want to know this?
Yes, I do. Get on it, dude. Wow. Are you that tired? Are you that cached?
I'm Googling it.
No, did you work? Did you work yesterday?
No.
Okay, so you didn't come home and go to work.
Yeah.
On the way home, I sat next to. Well, I got up to the gate, and who was sitting there? But I think it's Tim Robbins from Video Ball. We sat and talked. We sat and talked so long, we almost missed our plane. Because
Really?
he was on the same plane as me. Yeah. We talked a long, and then it took him like 45 minutes to get our bags. So we sat there and waited, talking on our phone, talking together for another 45 minutes. We probably talked 2 to 3 hours.
So aside from Evolve, okay, so you
Evolve.
guys saw that it's coming along.
Drive Club. Did you touch Drive Club? Because I didn't touch it. Piss Boy did.
Yeah, I got to play a game.
And?
It's not as simmy as I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not Gran Turismo, but it's not as arcadey as I would like it to be, like Need for Speed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's somewhere in the middle.
Right. Is that the one that?
Not sure how I feel about that. I might really like that if I sort of worked my way up from the poor cars to the good cars, because we started with a really fast car, and so I didn't quite have a handle on the handling yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of awkward to drive. Also, FYI, the Order wasn't a launch title, but it was planned for late 2014.
2013.
2014. So it's not even delayed yet.
It's not. No, it had to be pushed back.
It was pushed back. It's going to be early 2015 instead of late 2014. So it wasn't.
So it was never a launch title, and it was never even close to being a launch title.
Yeah.
So what?
It was always planned to come out. It was originally planned to come out at the end of this year,
right?
But then it was delayed into early next year.
Right.
Yeah, so it's been delayed. That's just making my point. It's delayed like everything else.
But it's not a launch title.
Yeah. And Kevin Boulware does point out, he said, why would anyone ever complain about a game delay? I would much rather a delay than a patch.
Oh, absolutely. But at the same time, again, it's the whole build up, and then yanking the rug from under you.
Yeah. Well, on the plus side is that order didn't, I mean, you wouldn't have even if it was on time, you still wouldn't have it in your hands.
Yeah, that's fine. But I just, the whole, we talked about this before. The delay thing is it just deflates the excitement.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
Well, it makes you feel like maybe there's something wrong with the game.
Yeah, that too. Like, okay, well, why?
Well, there might be, but at least a delay gives them a chance to fix it.
Right.
Yeah, and not on, but it's just becoming too commonplace now. With the exception of like Madden and guys and things like that, which always come out at the same time of year. It's like, oh, we got this great game, can't wait to play it. You start talking about it. Oh, it's delayed for 6 months to a year. You know what I mean? It's just if it's a month or 2 months or a couple of weeks, you can deal with it. But when it's pushed off for months,
yeah,
boy, that's forever.
Well, that's when it starts to scare you, because if you're delayed 6 months or 8 months, then you're like, okay, this is more than just a little kind of issue that you're having. This is something huge mechanical that you're working on. So,
like I said, it's just hard to get excited about something that just is delayed. You know, it's come on.
Let's see what else.
The other big ones. Okay.
Oh, did you touch, since you talked about Drive Club? What about the Crew, which is similar to the Drive Club, and they're both about driving, but the Crew is more of an MMO, right?
Yeah, I didn't get a hand on it though.
Okay, I think Pissboy did.
Pissboy did.
Yeah.
Yes.
He said he liked the Crew much better.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that's also because it has the arcade feel.
Yeah.
What let me ask you guys, what game surprised you? What game kind of jumped out of nowhere?
Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor.
Okay, so what was the big deal behind that? Is that a co-op? Is it multiplayer, single player campaign? Tell me about it.
Nick,
take it.
Go ahead, take it.
Okay. I knew like what its ambitions were going in, but I didn't know how well it would fulfill those. It's a single player game. Like, there's no multiplayer component to it at all.
Okay.
But it's an open world. Takes place in Mordor, which is like the orc evil area of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, the evil land of Lord of the Rings. But what you're doing is you are putting yourself into this like orc society. They have a really well thought out society and a hierarchy of generals, like a military hierarchy. So you have to go around, like your goal is to take control of this society. And so to do that, you have to take control of the 5 war chiefs in a particular area. You know, you have to get control of them or kill them. So to do that, you have to figure out who they are. And first you have to like mind control some grunts to figure out like, okay, who's this grunt's boss? Then you have to go to that boss, and you can either kill him or you could mind control him to sort of work your way up the chain. And every time you kill one guy, another person will take his place. So there's like this
it's a ladder. It's essentially a ladder. You've got like the bodyguards who are, more than just a grunt. There's a ton of those, and then there's captains, and then there's a lot of those, and then there's the 5 warlords, and each of the captains reports to a particular warlord. So the brute force way to go through it is to kill everything. But the problem is that if you kill everybody, then the guys, the bodyguards and the grunts will all just move up, and you haven't really taken over the area. The key is to use your ability for mind control to either mind control a warlord, which is hard to do, or mind control like a grunt or a captain, and then essentially manipulate through death and or other mind control to move your mind controlled guy up into the ranks of captain. So it's kind of like Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And what's neat is that you could die at any point. Like when you're trying to go for one of these targets, if they kill you, they'll get promoted into a new position, and they'll actually gain experience and level up and get stronger because they killed you, and you are the ranger. You're a big deal in this world. So time passes when you die because you're kind of an immortal person. So when you die, like a month passes, and in that month, the hierarchy changes a little bit. The guy who killed you levels up. He gets
moves up
promoted.
in the world. Yeah.
Some other people might resolve their disputes, and someone will die. But that's happening off to the side that you had nothing to do with. Just orcs hating other orcs and wanting to kill each other.
Yeah, the normal orc society of essentially brutal society.
You like revive back into this world to try to complete your target again, but time has passed and the hierarchy has changed a little bit. So you've got to kind of rethink your plan and how you want to go about this. And what's great is in the demo, normally when you have a demo, a guided demo, everything kind of happens perfectly. And what I loved about this one is that I was allowed to fuck things up so bad because I went for a guy and he killed me. So he got stronger and he got promoted. I went for him again and he killed me again and got stronger and got promoted. Then Pissboy took over, went for him, finally took him over, then went to try to take on a war chief. As he was trying to take on that war chief, he's like, oh shit, we killed the war chief. Oh, but I mind controlled his bodyguard, and the bodyguard was then promoted into the war chief position. So he's like, all right, I've got like 2 war chiefs controlled just because of the chaos that happens in battle. Like, it's the kind of game where you're going to make a plan and that plan's going to fall apart and you have to be able to like recreate a new plan on the spot in the heat of battle. Otherwise things could get even worse or they could work out fantastically.
Mm-hmm.
The more you talk about this game, the less I'm interested.
Oh yeah, you're going to in fact Kevin Bulware said in the chat room, where is it? Shadow of Mordor screams not a goalie game. Not a goalie game at all. It's going to be an amazing game that's going to do stuff that no other game has ever done, but you are going to hate it.
Yeah, it's starting to sound like it's more of a
Think of it this way. Think of Orc Society as a mafia family. And you are trying to essentially be a shadow controller, the overlord.
You lost me. You
yeah.
Don't even bother. I'm out. Next game. This does not interest me.
What else are you gonna? What would he like?
I mean, no. I'm just saying. What you
Alien Insurrection? You're gonna like.
But see, I was
not Insurrection.
Alien
Isolation
Insurrection is a stealth game. I don't know how.
I have that
like
Last and I have that Daylight, and I can't play those. Those freak me out because I can't fight back, and I'm just running.
Yeah. You definitely can't fight back, and you are definitely just running.
So I mean, the whole hide and seek type of game, boy, that wears thin.
Yeah. Ooh, new listener in the chat room, David Bussell. Welcome, David. And by the way, we have our regular contingent. We've got Jaeger, we've got Kevin Bulware, we've got Black Sparrow Void. I haven't seen AC Wraith yet. Just a matter of time. So, Corey Wallace. Jaeger calls it Lord of the Sims. Sort of.
Yeah, I could go with that.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. What else did we really, really, really like? There was of course, as usual, a ton of indie games. We spent a good long time in the PlayStation indie game booth. We put our hands on Nidhogg. I liked Nidhogg. What a good idea that is.
Yeah? You liked it?
I did not know that Nidhogg was a fencing game, which is near and dear to my heart. And you think, I don't know about that. It's very 8-bit looking, and you play a little fencer, and your other person you're playing against is a little fencer. It's definitely very fast play and kind of couch competitive. You play a fencer, the other guy plays fencers, little 8-bit fencers on a screen. And the best way I can describe it is like a tug of war. If you're in one screen, but way off to the right, several screens off to the right, is going to be where you want to run to win. on way off to the left is an exact replica of that on the left. That's where your opponent wants to run to. And the point is to slay each other and keep running and get to the end. So it's like a tug of war back and forth. But when you kill the other guy will respawn, but respawn in front of you in the next screen. So you have to just do it repeatedly. And it's super fun, super fast, very competitive, lots of yelling and screaming, lots of fuck you, god damn it, oh my god, that kind of game. Really fun. Nidhogg is a big thumbs up from me. Also played something that I thought was interesting, and it's either going to be, in the long run, very, 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 very good or very, 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 very bad. But I liked the look of it, and that was, I wrote that all down, Apotheon?
Yeah, the Greek art one.
Yeah, it's like playing in a Greek phase. And from what I could tell, you are a hero trying to get through an epic Greek hero story and fight the gods. Think if it was God of War in a 2D environment that looks like a Greek urn. Grecian urn. Or sorry, Roman. No, Grecian urn. It's really beautiful. Music is great. And it's levels. It's platforms. It's puzzlers. You need to get from point A to point B and figure things out. Doors will be locked. You have to kind of slay somebody to get the key or figure out what the puzzle is to get through the key, get through the door. But really gorgeous looking. And I liked that one a lot. And would have enjoyed playing it a lot more, but there was just too much to do. It's like you couldn't stay for very long on anything. What else stood out for you, Nick?
Of the indie game area, there was one called, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's
Describe
not Crawl. I think it was Chasm.
Yes.
And what was interesting about it, it was like a JRPG in all the mechanics of, like, you level up, like an action JRPG. You kind of fight people, you level up, you have an inventory, you have all these skills. But it was a platformer. Like just a straight up platformer. And I thought that was a really interesting combination because it felt very story driven, where I'm like this rookie soldier who's sent to this town on, these outskirts because there's been some mystery with a mine. And so I enter the mine to try to figure out what's going on. Why are these miners disappearing? And I didn't get any more of the story than that. But that by itself was enough to really intrigue me. Like, how can you not be kind of curious? Like, I want to know what's going on with this mine. And I like the idea of melding these two seemingly very different genres of mechanics. It helps that I like platformers and RPGs.
Slice 11 says Dragon Age Inquisition looking good? ? They only had the multiplayer. Demo. And we did play a little bit of it, one quick match of it. And I will say that the multiplayer, it's not smooth. It's still clunky, but I like the idea and it looks good. I have a lot of possibly misguided hope about it, that it will work when you're sitting down on your couch better. I definitely enjoyed the multiplayer, but it's not a multiplayer. If you've been playing Diablo, it ain't Diablo. It's not that kind of thing. It's very chaotic, but God, does it look good. It looks really. I've been playing Dragon Age Origins, and you think about the evolution of the Dragon Age feel. It's like the difference between Origins and 2 is this graphically is equivalent to in fact, probably even less than the difference between 2 and Inquisition. Inquisition looks awesome. I found the combat to be a little difficult. I found it actually not difficult. I found it kind of clunky. But I think that was probably because it was the first game that we played, and that they had intentionally made the demo very, very, very difficult so that you were kind of thrown into this world that was a little too difficult, especially not knowing what to do. So whenever you started behind the 8 ball. Like your health was always super low, and some people like that. I just kind of wanted to spend my time looking at the game and examining it instead of having to worry about, am I going to die? And if I die, then I won't be able to play this game anymore, because when you die, you have to be revived. If you aren't revived in a certain amount of time, then you're just observing. So, but I'm not as enthusiastic about Dragon Age. And this has nothing to do with the campaign. I'm still thoroughly enthusiastic about the Dragon Age campaign, just simply because I am hooked on the story. But as far as the multiplayer, I was hoping more of a multiplayer that had a solid feel like Mass Effect 3's multiplayer. It doesn't have that feel. It definitely has it doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me. I'm still probably going to play it, but it's not the kind of multiplayer I think I'm going to get hooked on. Your thoughts, Nick? Because you and I didn't play together on that one.
No, I probably wouldn't play much of the multiplayer just because I don't think of Dragon Age as a multiplayer game.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it was really good, there are probably other multiplayer games I'd be playing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you really got into Mass Effect, and I played maybe a bit and then just gave up.
Yeah.
Because it just, I don't know, there wasn't anything really compelling about it for me.
Yeah, Mass Effect multiplayer to me is still one of the best multiplayers ever made. I said it. Black Sphere Void in the chat room says, I'm waiting for Dragon Age, the Spanish Inquisition. No set date for release. It could come out at any time.
Oh, it is, because they haven't closed the borders on south part of the United States.
Right.
That's
No, you're missing it. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Totally missed the reference. That's a Monty Python reference. Dick. So anyway.
All right, so what else? What disappointed?
AC Wraith asked about Robot Loves Kitty. We never got back to Robot Loves Kitty. Yeah, that was one of the ones that just it fell through the cracks, and we never. There was another one, Alien. What was the ones that we did?
Interstellar Marines.
Interstellar Marines. We never got back with them. It just we blew out the appointments because other appointments ran long, and then just never got back to them because appointments were just back to back.
What games disappointed you? What did you go there with maybe some expectations, or maybe not even knowing, and then walking away going, "Oh boy, that."
For me, it was The Order, but Nick and Piss Boy had a different opinion than I did. I was a little disappointed with Inquisition because I was hoping more of a Mass Effect multiplayer feel, and it isn't. Not I didn't expect Mass Effect multiplayer, or anything exact to it, but I felt it. I wanted it to have a snappiness that the Mass Effect multiplayer did that it didn't have on this one. What else disappointed me? I'm very, what's the word I want? Very, I'm kind of on the fence about Dreadnought. A lot of people like Dreadnought. In fact, I think somebody gave Dreadnought Game of the Show. But I thought it was a little logy. And
what the hell does logy mean?
I know it's like a
logy,
I guess.
You never heard the phrase logy?
No.
I've heard lungy.
No, logy means kind of slow and clumsy.
Isn't that the point?
Well, I don't know.
You're a dreadnought.
Yeah, it's essentially a Armada. It's a PC based Armada combat multiplayer game. And yeah, I think it was gorgeous looking, and maybe I was in a bad space in my head because at that point we were pretty exhausted. But Dreadnought, it could go either way. It's going to succeed incredibly, or it's going to fail. It's not going to be in the middle.
What was this for?
Huh?
What game? I mean, console, PC.
PC bit only.
Okay.
And I think that the thing that, if anything, that gave me the greatest amount of concern was the fact that it was free to play.
Oh.
Yeah. Free to play makes me nervous.
It does. It's the death knell.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a death knell, but it's there we go. Somebody's like sluggish, torpid. They're giving.
I've heard those words before.
Logie?
I've never heard logie.
Kevin Bowler says exhausted equals hungover. No, not hungover. Haven't had any alcohol at all. Just pure exhaustion. Didn't sleep well in the room. Did you sleep well? It was a nice hotel. Gorgeous hotel. But it's a combination of the pillows. You know how it is when the pillow isn't your pillow? And it just... They were super soft pillows, but they were kind of either they were going to they have like 5 of them on the bed because we all have king beds. They're either too high or too low. So then you wake up in the morning and your neck is all kind of screwed up. Mm-hmm. And either the room was too warm or too cold. And then on top of it, there's a lot of light in my room. My curtains didn't close all the way. So, and I wake up with light. So I think I slept at most at a stretch 2 to 3 hours before I woke up and then went back to sleep. The whole 4 days.
See, I roomed with Lefty, the last hotel I was in, Lefty Brown for the married games. I just spooned with him. I went right out. Nice.
Let's see, what else? What else did we see?
Trying to think. What else was I?
All right, let me pull up my list because there was a bunch of stuff that there's the interviews, which are all available on Spreaker if you're listening to Spreaker right now, or on iHeartRadio. All of the interviews that we did with all the developers are available. But then there was a bunch of stuff we didn't do interviews for, especially the last day.
What were some of the longest lines? Obviously, Evolve had a long
Far Cry.
Far Cry 4.
Yeah, we play Far Cry.
Did it play like Far Cry 3?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. It's Far Cry 3, but with better graphics and really hard to control flight ultralights.
What things were there that maybe weren't on anybody's radar, that maybe they just announced or has been quiet, that you could say, oh, this might be a diamond in the rough down the line?
I think a lot of the games from Sony's indie booth were kind of like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd never heard of Chasm before.
Yeah.
Seeing that, I never heard of Apotheon before seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one that I have heard about before that I played in that booth that I really liked called the Nuclear Throne.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of a top-down dual joystick shooter, but it's a roguelike, so you have to kind of get as far as you can on one life, because if you die, you have to start over. But it's a shooter, and you're kind of going through these environments. One's kind of a desert. The other one I got to was like a sewer. But you pick up all these different kinds of guns. Like you start off with a pistol, and as you kill guys, you might pick up a shotgun, or you might pick up a crossbow, or an SMG. You know, all the classic shooter guns. And just using those new weapons, you kind of just have to get as far as you can.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a matter of avoiding, the enemy fire, picking up your weapons, trying to keep your ammo stocked, and just getting as far as you can on one life.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you beat a level, you get to choose from like a new perk. Like killing an enemy might randomly give you more health, or you might increase your health, or things like that. And that's the kind of game that lives or dies by its controls, and I found it to control really, really well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'd say another one that was showed in the Indie Mega booth, but also was in the Xbox booth as an Xbox Indie, was Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. We've heard about it. We actually got to play it. Boy, that is a fun game.
So
fun game.
Yeah, that looks
fun game.
Because it's 2-player co-op, right?
2-player co-op.
Yeah.
And it's and gorgeous looking. And good fun. So that would, I say, I mean, we all heard about it from last year, but the fact that it is going to be on Xbox is really good, because that game is really made for that kind of online 2-person joystick play, as opposed to the computer play. If it had been stayed on Steam, it would have been all right, but it's going to be awesome on a console. And that's 2-person co-op. You are in a round spaceship, and you are trying to navigate through space. And it's two people, ergo the lovers in the dangerous space-time. And there are like 6 or 8 different controls, like whether it be your guns or your shield or the engines or the map, and they're all in different places. So you have to kind of crawl up and down levels and up and down ladders to get from one control to the other. But there's like only 2 of you. So you really have to coordinate. And things are trying to kill you, of course. You have to really coordinate. Like, okay, he's going towards the engine because we need to go get out of here. But I have to get to the guns, but I have to get to the guns on the front of the ship. And I'm in the back of the ship, so I have to run to the guns in the front of the ship. So you spend a lot of time running around the ship trying to get to wherever you need to get to do what you need to do in time to do it. So it's very, very good fun and very pretty. So I'd say that was one of those ones that was under the radar. Remind me what Until Dawn is. I wrote it down. I freaking can't remember it.
The horror movie like Heavy Rain.
Oh, that's right. I didn't play. You did. You got it. Guys got in. I went. I think I went to the bathroom while you were in there. So tell me.
That's a game that I could see a lot of people not liking because it's very much like a cliched horror movie. It's like I Know What You Did Last Summer mixed with Evil Dead, mixed with Scream, mixed with Halloween. It's a slasher flick. It's a ghost story. It's a revenge story. It's part Saw as well. Like, it feels like it takes all these ideas from horror movies and just shoves them into this blender. And I could see a lot of people not liking that, but I like it because, well, it depends on how well it's executed, but it seems to give you a choice through the story like Heavy Rain did, where, and this is something one of the PR people told us, is that if you make a lot of the right decisions, you could get through the game with all of the characters still alive. And that, I think, will be key to it being fun. Because, yes, it might be a cliched horror movie, but it's a cliched horror movie that you are really a part of. And you've never really gotten that before. I mean, people always say, like, oh, if I'm in a horror movie, I would never go down to the basement. And theoretically, here's a game that gives you that option, where you can say, no, I won't go into the basement, or yes, I will. So now's where you can finally put your money where your mouth is
and play a horror
and see if you would survive.
Play a horror movie the way that you know that you're going to survive it. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool.
Uh-huh.
And that is where I think the tropes and cliches work in its favor, because people know what's going on, and if you give someone a choice of like how to respond when they know those cliches, and then like you still fuck them over, I think that could be fun and funny. It's a horror game that I don't know if it will be like really scary, like Alien Isolation, but it's a horror game that I think would just be, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a little, I don't do horror games because they mess with my sleep and I have nightmares, but that one I just might try simply because, well, for example, Outlast. You had to go a certain way, and I knew if I open this door, something bad is going to happen to me, and I hated that feeling, like, I don't want to open that door. I don't want to open it, and to have a game that actually says, okay, don't open the door, that's fine, would be kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
Essentially, getting from point A to point B in the way that is going to keep you alive. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Kevin Bowler says the real news this week, maybe PS4 remake of Beyond Two Souls.
Wait, that's not big news. That's dumb news.
Another one that I didn't play. Nick played. I watched him play it because it was just the booth was so full. Was Cannon Brawl.
Oh yeah,
which
I
is
really like that.
Real-time worms.
Yes. It's like a 2D game. It all takes place on one screen. The screen never like scrolls left and right. And it's a real-time strategy game in that there are resources on the 2D plane that you have to mine to get some type of currency that you then use to build like shields and cannons and other resource management things, and use that to try to destroy the enemy's base. And as you shoot cannons, you can destroy the environment, or you can destroy the other person's cannons and other person's equipment. But what's cool is that you only control like this zeppelin. It's like this fast flying zeppelin, and when you build let's say a cannon, and then you build a shield turret, you have to fly over to the cannon to take control of it to shoot, and then you have to fly over to the shield turret to activate a shield, and both of those will then be put on a cooldown so that you can't jump in them again. So it's not like an automatic real-time strategy game where if you build the cannon, it's not just going to keep firing. You have to manually fire it. So it's kind of like toy soldiers in that way. And what I like about that is it means there's always something to do. So like you'll be focusing on building up your defenses, and then you'll realize, oh shit, I haven't actually shot him for like a minute, and he's just been bombarding me, and that's why I've been stuck building all these defenses. I haven't done enough offense. And so it creates it's hectic, but it's hectic in a way that's not like overwhelming. It's hectic in a way that forces you to concentrate and forces you to not focus, kind of, because it's so easy to just get this laser focus on one part of the map, and like I want to build up my defenses here, I want to keep shooting this cannon, that you forget to build up your defenses above or below or something like that. So there's a lot going on, but it's a very simple game. Like the mechanics and the systems, it's very easy to get into and understand what's going on, but it feels like the kind of game that is deceptively simple because there's so much strategy to how you build and how you move and what turrets you activate at what time, what character you choose, because they all have different abilities. That seems like a super fun game, and it's out on Steam Early Access now, so I might have to pick that up.
Yeah. Yeah. And another one, let's see, I'm looking down on our thing. The thing that I am very much looking forward to, I expect it's, well, did they say that it was going to console Chariot? I can't remember.
I think so. I mean, we played it on a controller.
Did we? I
Yeah.
can't remember. No, I thought we played it on a touchscreen.
No, that was Dragonfin Soup.
Oh, you're right. Chariot, we played control. Yeah, Chariot is I would say if there's going to be an indie game to look for a game called Chariot. It's a puzzle game about a princess and her fiancé, and her father, the king, has died, and she is transporting his coffin on a wagon to where where she wants to bury it. But the father, the king, is the ghost is still there, and he's very picky about exactly where he wants his coffin buried, and is insisting that the princess and her fiancé transport this coffin. And the mechanic for moving it's really super physics based, where you as the players, the 2-person co-op, have to get this chariot from point A to point B over obstacles and down ramps and over things, and there's lots of interesting obstacles that you have to work with and environmental things that you have to work with and work against. The way that you move it is that you can cast a rope, and the rope will allow you to either pull it. If you cast a rope into the back, it'll also allow you to hold back so it doesn't run down a ramp super fast. You can haul it up into the air, and the other person can cast the rope and hold on to the back, so you can haul one person can haul both the chariot and the other player up the ramp at the same time. You'll have to use the chariot in order to get over one person gets over like one high wall and then holds onto the chariot and pulls the chariot over, which allows the other player to get over. It's definitely two people kind of fumbling around doing their best to get this very squirrely little chariot that's constantly reacting to physics and moving in ways that a completely free run without brakes chariot would over a bunch of stuff. It was so charming and so fun. And it's the kind of game that when you succeed at doing something, it's almost by accident, which was hilarious because when that happens, everybody cheers. Like, yes, we got it. Oh my God. And another one I was kind of looking forward to that is very much not like I shouldn't say looking forward to, it's already out, but it's not my kind of game, but I had a lot of fun playing it. Was Broforce.
Yeah.
Broforce is fun. Broforce is so much fun, and it is so not my kind of game. It's what would you call it? Like a 2D platform rumbler?
Yeah, 2D platformer shooter.
Rumbler.
A lot of shooting.
Yeah, a lot of shooting. You're working co-op, so it's 4 persons, and death happens, but you respawn very quickly. The point is to get everybody from point A to point B, and it's hilariously fun. It definitely has tongue in cheek going on with a name like Broforce.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved their story about how they've put out a kind of a companion game. It's not really a companion game. Essentially, it's the same game, but it's a stripped down model that's tied to Expendables 3, because they originally did the game and they're like, you know what? We're going to get sued. We're so going to get sued by superheroes because not superheroes, but action heroes. We're going to get sued by this because this is asking for trouble. And sure enough, they get a letter from the Expendables 3 and they're like, okay, here it is. We're about to get the cease and desist letter. And they open it up and the Expendables 3 says, we love the game. We would really like to see if you could do a stripped down model with fewer characters for us to help promote our movie. And they're like, really? You're not going to sue us? You're going to actually give us money and let us make a game for you? Okay. So there is the Brospendables and Broforce. Broforce has more characters. Brospendables just has the major, I think it was 5 characters that are in the movie? The Sylvester Stallone.
I think it was like 6.
6. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that was definitely tons of fun. And a good couch co-op. That was kind of, it was Pissboy that kind of pointed out that couch co-op is the operative word this year. There was a ton of couch co-op and couch competitive games this year.
Yeah, because Chariot was local co-op only.
Yeah.
Nidhogg is best when it's local only.
Yeah. Let's see. We didn't really chat much about Get Out of Hell, which is the
because we saw that on the last
day. Yeah, that's right. We had an interview, but we didn't give our opinions on it. What did you think of it?
I thought it looked like more Saints Row.
More Saints Row. Well, this is just the standalone expansion for Saints Row. I think that the marketing of it is very, very clever. It's more Saints Row. It's funny, hilarious, great guns. The what was it? The Lazy Boy recliner / cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
The
sloth gun. Each of the guns, the new weapons are based on the 7 deadly sins. So sloth was
only 7 of them are.
I should say 7 of them.
New guns that aren't based on them.
Right. But I thought that the marketing of it is going to be interesting because it is coming out. What did they say? Like beginning of next year? But it's coming out at the same time that they're releasing the essentially legacy edition of Saints Row, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is?
The re-election edition.
Re-election edition, right.
Which is basically for new consoles.
So, yeah. And so the re-election edition is going to be $30. The Get Out of Hell is going to be $20. So for $50, you get not only the next-gen update of Saints Row, you also will get the second, an extension of it where you essentially, the character that you made in Saints Row gets taken down to hell. and several members of your team, was it Kinsey and who else? I forget.
Gat.
Johnny Gat, right. They go down into hell to get you out. So, yeah, it's not going to have all the characters, and it's not going to be your playable character. You're not going to be playing that in Gat Out of Hell, but it's your playable character that has been taken into hell or purgatory. And essentially it is it's not a repeat of the city. Was it Steelport? It's not a reproduction of Steelport. It's an entirely new city that is more conducive to the method of transport, which is going to be angel wings. So you're going to fly. And they were able, because of the A, new console, B, because they're working with this new mechanic for movement, they decided to just redesign a city that will be more conducive to moving around and, genting through things and juking around buildings and flying under stuff and over stuff and stuff like that. So it looks good. I don't know if I'm craving Saints Row enough, but if you really liked Saints Row, and I would be interested to see it in the on next gen anyway. But for $50, get you the old game plus the new game. It's not a bad deal.
Yeah, not bad. I enjoyed the crap out of that. I don't know if I'd want to play that all again.
Yeah, but the nice thing about the Gat Out of Hell is that it's standalone, so you don't have to play the whole thing again. You could just buy Gat Out of Hell, which would be essentially more Saints Row with different guns, same tongue-in-cheek attitude. So yeah, that's was not a bad one that we didn't actually talk about our opinion. You got anything else, Nick? Dragon fin soup?
Yeah, I like that. It looks like Bastion but turn-based. That's kind of the best way to describe it. Although apparently there's also like a roguelike element. Well, it sounded like they were making two games essentially. One is a story-driven game where you play as this girl who has amnesia, who's a raging alcoholic, who is just kind of a mercenary, and she goes on missions, and over time you discover her past and what's going on with her. And that's the story mode. But then there's kind of a roguelike mode where it's just the mechanics, and it's just a matter of surviving a dungeon, as many dungeons as you can for as long as you can. And in the story mode, you're playing as was her name Red? Her name wasn't Red. What was her name? Well, essentially in the story mode, you're playing as the girl, but in the roguelike mode, you can play as a bunch of different characters. You can play as a skeleton, a sheep, or the main person, and there are other characters that I can't remember. But that struck me as an interesting way to go about it, because it's not normally when you see games split like that, it's always like single player and multiplayer. But this is like a single player story and a single player roguelike. But it's also kind of multiplayer because a roguelike allows for leaderboards and allows people to kind of compete with each other. And they said that even though it's a roguelike and even though it's randomized based off of a seed, like the Minecraft world is. So you can give a seed to your friend and still compete on similar levels, even though they're randomized. So there is an element of like multiplayer competition there, which is really interesting, and you don't see that much. But I'm kind of into it.
Looking at the chat room, Jaeger says the buzzword for 2014 is 2015.
Huh.
There's a lot of discussion about Saints Row, and they're talking about that Brospendables and or Expendable or Broforce and Saints Row need to get together to make Saints Bro, which has been coming in a delayed 2017. Just AC Wraith asked, does Saints Row load your boss from their website as the NPC MacGuffin?
Yes.
Okay. And Black Void wants to know, did Goalie enjoy the sewage truck out of Saints Row?
Don't remember that.
I think that was a Saints Row one. He never played Saints Row one. But and honestly, I don't think anybody tried. I bought Saints Row 1 and I tried to play Saints Row 1. What a horrible game that was. Oh my God, what a horrible game that was. Oh! The best thing about it was the bugs where you would drop through the sky. Ugh, such a terrible game. But Saints Row 2 is not good, not bad. And Saints Row 3, of course. Saints Row 5, that was the last one, right? Saints Row 5?
4.
Saints Row 4. Saints Row 4 was definitely the best.
I didn't like 3 at all. I lasted like 10 minutes of 3, and I was like, this is terrible. But
Which is
4...
weird to me. I like
Yeah.
3 so much more than 4.
Something about 4 just caught me, and I just really, really dug 4 and couldn't get enough of it and played the crap out of that. And just, I don't know, maybe I just didn't get 3, and maybe I was ready to get 4. Like Borderlands. Borderlands 1, I couldn't stand it. But 2, maybe it was just the right amount of tweaking.
Yeah.
And it just made it a little more smooth, or I don't know.
I think that it has a lot to do with your mind space. That if you go into a game and it's confusing and you don't understand it, you will fling it, regardless of whether it's a good game or not. But then you see the what's the word I want? Sequel, and you're in a different mind space, and you understand it better, and then you like it. So I still think you need to go back to the original Borderlands, because the original Borderlands isn't that much different than the second one.
I do have it. I just think that in the second ones, they kind of tweak enough to smooth it out a little bit. They smooth out some of the bumps that might have made it not fun. Not that that makes it unplayable.
No, I don't think that's. I would want to play with you, Saints Row 1, not Saints Row, so on. Borderlands 1, because I'm interested to know what bumps you think there are.
Well, again,
I don't think there are any bumps.
I think I had a bad experience when I played Borderlands 1 because I got it.
And you got it, and you tried to solo it at the beginning, and you didn't understand it. Whereas the second time, we all played it together, and we knew all about it, and were able to explain it to you. So it wasn't because
it was more.
Are you kidding? At the beginning of Borderlands, you were having a hard time. You started to hate it because you didn't understand. You had to pick up different kinds of ammo. Once I explained that, you loved it.
Yeah, because you were like, check the mailbox, check it. So once we stopped running out of ammo, I was like, oh, okay. And then we got that first power where it threw the person in the air.
Right.
And that was the aha moment. I was like, okay, I got ammo. I could throw this person in the air and shoot him. This is
those are the things that were in 1. But like I said, if no one had been there to say this is how the ammo system works, you would have chucked that game.
What happened in 1 is I ended up playing with a couple of people who had been playing it. So I went in new, and they had some higher characters. Mm-hmm. They were like, okay, just sit behind us and we'll kill everything, and you can come in and scoop it up.
Yeah, don't blame the game, blame those people because they didn't.
That might have been the one, because I was like, okay, if I'm just going to sit here and kind of stroke myself while you guys have all the fun.
Right.
Yeah, forget it.
Right.
You know, it's like, so then I was like, okay, do this and then go back to the doctor, then do this and go back to the doctor. I was like, yeah, I'm not having any fun.
Yeah, and if you were going back to the doctor, then you were probably farther on, so you didn't even have a sense of the story. And the story is awesome, as you know from Borderlands 2. The story is really good.
I always wanted to. Pissboy actually sent me a copy of it. I still have a copy of it on the Xbox 360.
Pull it out, dude.
I haven't.
Sometime this week we'll pull it out, and you and I will start new characters together, and we will do it.
The thing is, right now, there's so much to play right now.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, that's the thing. It's like, and it's tough going back to the 360. And I knew this would happen once the new consoles come out.
Yeah,
it's because there's no one on 360 anymore.
Yeah.
And no one's playing anything on a 360.
I have found that a reason for the 360 is because if I ever want to just play a game where nobody's inviting me to a party and I just want to kind of, I'm in that introvert mode where I just want to kind of huddle up and not have anybody bug me just for a little while, I can always play the 360.
Yeah, I still have,
because everybody's always already in the PlayStation 4, and if I feel like totally social and ready to go, and because I hate turning people down or ignoring invites. I feel obligated to get it when I get an invite, I
used to get the itch to play that racing game, and I got a couple. I think it was Shift and Shift 2 I picked up real cheap on a 360. They were fun little racing games, and I was like, I had the itch to put those in and play on the 360, and I got the Left 4 Dead 1 itch. I went back and played that a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And that was fantastic. And there was people actually playing that with me. It was kind of cool. Left 4 Dead 1 was people still playing that, just random people coming in.
Yep.
So there's still a few games that are playing the 360. And I'm not saying no to the Borderlands 1. I'm not saying no.
Yeah.
But it would have to be a night that nothing's going on. Because right now I'm balls deep into Diablo, and every night and every day I'm playing, and I'm playing with different people, and like we got good groups going on, and just we always get 4 in a room, and we're having a blast. So that's kind of the go-to game right now. In fact, I bought Madden, and I can't even play Madden. Every time I boot up Madden, someone comes in and says, "Hey, we'll play Diablo." It's like, well, yeah.
Yep.
So that's where I am right now. I got hockey coming out next week. I don't even know if I'm going to play that because of Diablo. So, but I mean, the good thing about it is that there's no hurry on that Borderlands 1. It's not like it's going to expire or anything like that. So
yeah,
we'll check it out and get a different perspective of B1.
Let's see, Video Ball, another one that we talk about whether we liked it or hated it.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, it's. Yes, we did. And that we discussed that in our sitting in the hotel room 2-hour mega show.
Yeah.
And then there were all the games that we saw after the event closed at the Seattle 6 event that was all these tiny, these are the tiny games. It was a group of developers all got together, rented out a space in the basement of was it restaurant or something? It's like a rental space. And a couple of kegs of beer. Somebody went down to Costco and got a veggie plate and put up a bunch of tables and loaded up these games. What was the one that was essentially the Joust meets Video Ball?
I've tried to find the name of that, and it's really hard.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at the list of games that was on the website, and I don't know if any of them were that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's essentially multiplayer Joust, where you're riding these big birds. Not all ostriches. Some are like ostriches, some are roosters, some are chickens, some are old extinct dinosaurs. And it's like Joust, where you have to like mash on a button to fly and then let go to fall. But you want to jump on the head of your opponents. And when you do that, you spawn like 3 balls. And you want to then knock those balls into a goal. So it's all a matter of flying around, bouncing on people's heads like Joust, but then trying to knock all these balls into a goal.
Yeah. And the more people you kill, the more balls you get. And I think the guy told me that it was like the max that you could get is 20 balls.
Something like that, yeah.
So, that looked interesting. And then, let's see, there was another really clever one that's called, what was it, Red Shift?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Red Shift. The premise is that there is a nuclear power plant, and the nuclear power plant is going to explode in between 3 and 4 minutes, but we don't know how much. And it's randomly generated. That number is a completely random number. There are 5 switches inside the power plant. There's a fire, by the way. There's a fire in it as well. There's 5 switches. You have to switch all these 5 switches and then get to the main console. But you don't know where all any of this stuff is. So you are essentially being timed or you have to do these 5 things in a maze, and you don't know where it's exploration, but it's a timed exploration. And it's very simple, but man, was it fun. Man, was it fun. Because you can get 3 of those. You get lucky and you'll find 3 switches. Bam, bam, bam. And then the last 2 you can't get to. It takes you forever to find. Yeah, it's definitely fun. And of course, if the power plant blows up, it blows up everything for 250 square miles. So it's a lot of guilt if you fail.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. But it's real short. That's what's nice about it. You know that every game is going to be between 3 and 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's what's definitely nice. And I mean, it is playable on mobile platforms. And I think it's already out. Is it out?
I don't remember. I'll look that up. Let me find out. Go ahead and keep talking. I'll look it up because at this point I can't talk and write at the same time.
But what was the name of the dream one, the sleep one?
I don't know. I thought you had a card from them. What was the name of it?
Let me see if I have a card for that, because
That was
there's
an
another game
adorable game.
where you are basically a child. Well, there's a child who seems to be in this dream world, and he will walk back and forth across the
Oh
screen.
no, really? Really? Oh my god, I hate websites that do that they immediately start up a video.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and yeah, the red shift. There we go. Red shift games. Anyway, you were talking?
So the kid will move back and forth on the screen, and your job is to basically move objects around the screen in order to let him keep walking.
Mm-hmm.
So at first it's pretty simple because you're just moving platforms so that he doesn't fall, and you're just moving ladders so that he can climb. But then it starts adding in a whole bunch of obstacles, like evil eyes that if you touch him, you'll have to reset. And so you have to time how you move the platform to avoid the eye. And then there will be springs that you have to tap as he walks over them in order to make him jump. And you have to time those things so that he lands on a moving platform. And the guy showed us a later level, and it's insane how complicated it gets. But what's interesting is that there's a kind of roguelike element where you can basically reset 3 times. You can sort of fail 3 times, and then the dream will end. The kid will wake up. And when that happens, you can kind of spend this money you've accumulated on upgrades. And what those upgrades are is essentially the ability to scroll the screen down, because the screen is always going up.
Yeah.
So if you don't solve the puzzle fast enough, you'll fail. So you can get this ability to pause the screen to make it scroll back down, or just more retries so that you can fail more. And then when you start up again, you have to start over from the beginning. But when I started over, it didn't feel like it was from the complete beginning. It felt like, I don't know, I moved through the early stages faster.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's completely linear.
Right.
I think there's like a procedural generated element to it where there are all these puzzles, like, you know, whether it's moving a ladder, moving a platform, hitting a spring or something like that. And I think there are, let's say, 20 versions of each puzzle, but you'll only encounter 5 of those puzzles in a run. So like you get 5 ladder puzzles, 5 platform puzzles, 5 spring puzzles. But then when you start over again, you'll get 5 different ladder puzzles,
Mm-hmm.
5 different platform puzzles, and things like that, which is a really great way of keeping a puzzle game fresh and not repetitive and boring.
In answer to your question, Redshift is available on iTunes right now. It's $1.99. Well worth it. Really, I would say it's right up there with Plague Inc. In that, but it's nice because it's little short games. It's 5, like I said, 3 to 4 minutes.
I liked it, but Plague Inc. is a masterpiece.
Plague Inc. is a masterpiece. This is really, really good, and I liked it because it is short. It fills a gap that if you're not going to fill it with Plague Inc., you can fill it with this, because Plague Inc. is great for long commutes. It is not good for, I just want to do something real quick while I'm waiting for a telephone call or I'm waiting for something to happen.
That's true.
So yeah, that's what this is. Go ahead and talk. My husband just locked the cat in the bedroom, so hold on a second. Just let's talk about what's another one of those games that you saw? What was the one that was called like Viking something?
Oh yeah, Viking Squad.
Viking Squad. That was nice. I liked Viking Squad.
Viking Squad is a neat co-op brawler where you play as a Viking. And what's kind of funny is that it's a 3-person co-op game, which sounds kind of strange, but the reason it's 3 is because there's only 3 developers. So when they playtest it, the maximum people they can playtest it with is 3. So that's what it is. That's why it's 3. But it's a classic brawler, but there are little changes to it that make it really fun. Like one of the things that's always annoying about these 2D side-scrolling brawlers is that it's kind of hard to tell what plane you are on versus the enemy, so that you might start swinging your axe or whatever, but the enemy is like
behind you,
2 frames below you,
Yeah.
and so you're not technically hitting them.
Yeah, I hated that.
So what they've done is they've basically created just these lanes where when you move up and down, you're just moving from one lane to the other. So there are only like 4 lanes in the level. So everything will always be on those 4 lanes. So whether you move up, down, you know that if you can see someone in front of you, you know that they are on your same lane and you know that you will hit them. So there's no question of, oh, he was 2 frames below where I attacked, so I didn't hit him. Like, that's not an issue. And what's also cool is that you have your basic melee attack, that you spam, but then you have these special attacks, and for the special attacks, there's an active time reload element to it, where you hold the Y button, and a little meter goes across the screen, and if you let go of the Y button when the meter is like in the yellow section, you'll do the best version of the attack, and if you let go of it too soon or too late, you'll get a less powerful version of that attack. And different attacks have different sized meters. And it's just a nice way of keeping the combat interesting so that you're not just mindlessly spamming a button over and over again. You actually do have to kind of consider what's going on. And there's a cool open world element to it where when you finish a level, you're then transported to a world map where you choose what to do next. And you can collect gold and silver, basically money, as you're going through the levels, and use that to unlock more in typical gaming fashion. So yeah, Viking Squad. I don't remember when it's coming out or what platforms it's coming out on, but it's definitely another good couch co-op game.
Yeah. There's a ton of really good games down there, and I was surprised at how good they were. Because I wasn't expecting much, because I knew these were like the micro developers who, 1 or 2 person developers. A lot of times you can get really good ideas that are not well formed. And that was definitely, none of those games that I saw were bad ideas.
Nope.
What else was there?
Hey, is there any hardware or accessories or anything beyond software that jumped out at you guys?
I don't know. I mean, there were headsets.
Hardware?
Yeah, there were headsets and stuff, but we didn't have time to go to headsets.
I just didn't know if there was anything that said, "Oh, gee, that'd be nice to have."
Turtle Beach had a huge presence.
They always do.
Yeah. A couple of the actually, surprisingly enough, Comcast had a huge presence.
Really?
Xfinity Comcast. Big
I think
booth.
they're showing off game streaming.
Right. What else? There Intel had a big booth. Alienware had a big booth. But we didn't even step foot in them. We had too many games to go to.
I mean, like, there's no hardware coming out.
Yeah, there's not anything.
Like, any hardware there'd be would just be typical.
Other than Oculus. Oculus was there. And once again, Nick, you didn't put Oculus on. Could have done it.
No, it was a huge line.
Hey, do you know what's funny about that is in Diablo, when you're fighting in Act 3 or 4, you go into the Rift Oculus. Did you notice that?
What was it?
You go into the Rift Oculus.
Yeah.
It's the tears. Now, I wonder if that has anything to do with Oculus Rift, and if they could get in trouble for that.
No.
No.
Oculus Rift is a term. It's not a. It's a.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this game had a Rift Oculus.
Right, but
This might be like a nice Easter egg. They're not going to get in trouble for it though.
Okay.
right that. The Oculus, I believe Oculus. Don't ask me what it means, but Oculus Rift is a term that preceded the Oculus Rift headset. I should say a Rift Oculus is a term that preceded the Oculus Rift.
Just asking.
Yeah, I think that was it's because it's not that it's no that they like I wish I could remember what a Rift Oculus is. But I think a Rift Oculus is not a...
It was in Diablo, that's all I was asking.
Right.
And I said, oh, look at that, it's a Rift Oculus, in that little tear you went through.
And I'm looking for Rift Oculus, but of course everything's coming up Oculus Rift, which is not what I want.
That's fine. I just don't know.
Have you found the special Last of Us dungeon yet?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Then again, I haven't really been searching for any of them either. So I just finished the game finally. Finished the Act 5, all the DLC. Haven't got to level 7 yet. I'm at 68, but now I can go back and play adventure mode so I can kind of poke around a little bit. That's all I've been playing since I've been sick is that Diablo. Oh my gosh, that's been a lot to say. No, seriously, because I work at home and I've been down and out and had time off. I'm sitting here being miserable, and so at least I get to talk to people while I play Diablo. Mm-hmm. So that's been kind of good.
I am looking for the definition of.
You're still looking for that?
Yeah, because it's a Latin term, but it's an eye. Oculus means an eye.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna this now. You've got my curious peaked. Let's say what else.
I can't remember what else we saw. I mean, we talked about everything in that big major.
Here's
podcast.
Everything we saw.
Everything that we didn't
Escape
talk
Dead
about
Island.
Then
yeah, we did Escape Dead Island.
Stuff that we saw on the last day.
Right, Escape Dead Island. Escape Dead Island 2. Sorry, Dead Island 2. Broforce, Not a Hero, Invisible Ink, Boo Bunny Plague, Coffee Stain Studios Goat Simulator, Lovers in a Dangerous Time, Cannon Brawl, Shadow of Mordor, Video Ball, Evolve, Hot Tin Roof, Chariot, Get Out of Hell, Apothenon, Nuclear Throne, Nidhogg, Dreadnought, Until Dawn, Far Cry, Dragonfin Soup, and The Order. And that's everything that we saw pretty much at the show. Wow, that's a lot of games. Fuck. Mm-hmm. All right, so what would you think is your game of show?
I really, really liked Shadow of Mordor.
I'm going to name Shadow of Mordor as that as well. I think backed my second place, very close second place of Chariot. I would put Chariot as number 2. And then actually Delvers into Dangerous Time second, and then Chariot third. I'd say that. I'm really kind of bummed that we did not get to see Below or we also saw Costume Quest as well. But we didn't see Below, and we didn't see Massive Chalice.
No.
What did you think of Dead Island 2? Was it oh?
I didn't play it. I only did the interview.
Dead Island. It looked cool.
Yeah. Concept of it is that it is set in California, and that California is now overrun with the zombie plague, and it is, well, how did he describe it? That essentially California has now become an island in and of itself, an island of plague, and that is the Dead Island.
Yeah, it's been isolated.
Yeah.
Quarantined.
So it's Dead Island in Los Angeles. I'm more Dead Island. We did pitch the beach ball achievement again.
That's awesome.
He said, we're actually looking for achievements right now. And I go, the beach ball achievement. Tell me there's beach balls, because if there are, that would be, seriously, you just make our day if you actually had a beach ball achievement in there to kick the beach ball 100 yards.
That would be terrific.
We'll keep lobbying for that one day. One day it will happen. Let's see. What was it? Oh, the new updated. Jaeger is once again insulting us by not saying that we don't pay enough attention to Nintendo. That there's the new updated 3DS. Yeah, I mean, ooh.
All right.
There's a surprise. No, everybody knew that the 3DS is going to re-update because it's the only thing that Nintendo's making money on. In fact, which one of the games was on the Wii U down in the Seattle 6?
Oh, the multiplayer Joust was.
That's right, that we can't remember the name of.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be.
They said that that's just because Nintendo was the first to respond.
Right, which is surprising because so many of these other games would be great. Like Chariot would be great on a Wii U, but it's not coming to Wii U. So yeah, I've heard that the new Super Smash Brothers is awesome, is over the top great. It's what, Super Smash Brothers 10 or something. New character.
Brawl? No, not Brawl.
No.
Brawl?
I want to say something, it was something 10, but the new character to play is the dog from Duck Hunt, which I think is really funny.
Awesome.
That's great. That is awesome. We did not play it, but there was the new Geometry Wars that was getting a lot of attention. And everyone I spoke to that had played it said it's great. It's Geometry Wars, but even better, where the space is now moving around you as well as you moving in the space. So it becomes a lot more challenging. So Kim Bowler says it isn't just an update, it's a new handheld.
It's not a new handheld if it's called 3DS.
It's not a new handheld if it's 3DS. If it's 3DS, it's an update. May have all those new features. The new iPhone's still the new iPhone. By the way, oh wow, the iPhone. That's a clusterfuck of the first order with the leaking of the celebrities' photos from iCloud. That's why I don't save things to iCloud. I don't trust iCloud. Do not. Nothing goes on the iCloud if I could possibly help it. So. So what else? Anything? I'm running out of steam. Anybody have any questions about anything in the chat room, or Goalie, do you have any questions?
No, you guys were just talking about what we needed to hear and the whole bit. And...
Nick, you got anything that you want to pick up before? Because I mean, we didn't bring any news to the show simply because there's too much to talk about from PAX.
The news.
Yep.
I know. I'm looking at this new 3DS.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what's.
It says games will not be backwards compatible. So in other words, it's a 3DS update in which you can't play your old games. Okay. See, that's the reason. The Nintendo stuff sometimes really bugs me, is that things will come out and people are like, I'm super excited about this. It's awesome. And then you look at it and it's like, so you're going to throw away your thing you already bought money for to get a new thing that doesn't play your old games. What?
Yeah.
By the way, I wish I'd had more time for the Street Pass, because that's the number one thing I play is Street Pass and Fire Emblem. Still a good game. Oh man, I love to fly in planes because it gives me a reason to do Fire Emblem. God, that is still such a good game, and I've played the crap out of it, and I'm still enjoying it. So I'm glad. Thank you for getting me into Fire Emblem, because that is the exact perfect solution for the 3DS. Is airplane travel, and I'm so pissed that I didn't charge it on the way home. I sat there reading my book and thinking to myself, God damn it, I really wish I even took my 3DS with the charger into the bathroom just in the off chance that, like sometimes the bathrooms on the older planes have a little outlet, because there are outlets on the planes and I know where they are, but I wasn't going to go like grab it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, even if I could get like 5 minutes of play, I would have done that.
So yeah, reading more about this new 3DS, it sounds like a terrible decision.
Let's see.
Because it's just a 3DS that's slightly more powerful, that's not backwards compatible, that's named new 3DS.
Yeah.
It's named in a marketplace where you have the 3DS, the 3DS XL, and the 2DS. You're then going to add in a third thing that can't play the other games for the other DS things out there.
Mm-hmm.
And what's different about it is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to port over Xenoblade Chronicles, which was a good game, but that's not a portable game. It's kind of reeks of desperation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do feel sorry for Nintendo. They plunked all that money into that Wii U console, and they're still major. I don't think we saw anything except that one Joust game that we can't remember the name of that's coming to Wii U that we saw. And there were a ton of games that were perfect for that.
There was all the Nintendo games. There's all the Nintendo.
Oh, that's true. Well, I mean, other than the Nintendo games, there were no other third-party games that we saw. Even in the independent sections, the indie mega booth downstairs, and then the indie floor upstairs. There's only one that I remember that being for the Wii U, and a lot of these games would be perfect for the Wii U. But Nintendo really isn't doing, and I found it odd that Nintendo, he said that Nintendo was the first one to respond. Because he's the only one that I've heard of that's a third party person that did it. That maybe none of them wanted to because there's not enough penetration of the Wii U into the market. I don't know. I'm going to have to find out more details about that because I just think that the Wii U is a horrifically underrated console, especially for many of these independent and small games that are coming out. And I'm not sure where there's obviously a disconnect between third-party developers, mini and micro developers, and Nintendo. And I don't know where that disconnect is happening, whether it's on Nintendo's side or the developer's just not pursuing it because there's not enough market in it. Crap, I hate. And Jaeger wants to know our opinion about Gamergate. I don't honestly. A lot of that stuff has happened since Gamergate has happened since we were at PAX and in the process of going to PAX, so I don't know about it. Bottom line is that there's bottom line. I don't have an opinion at this point. I will tell you next week when I actually have a chance. I don't even know what's going on in the news, much less. All I did was come home, snooze for 20 minutes, go to the emergency room, come back, sleep, wake up, do this. That's all I've done. Haven't even opened the news at all. So, I did know about the other stuff because that was bigger than Apple thing. Nick, anything else you want to add?
No.
Heartbreak Ridge is saying wave off Gamergate. I'm not going to wave it off, but I'm going to look. I do know about the Anita Sarkeesian thing because that happened to come up in a Twitter feed that I was doing our Twitter at that particular moment and somebody brought it up. So, yeah, I think I don't know how I know exactly how I feel about the Anita Sarkeesian thing that happened this week, and I'm really glad that so many of the developers are rushing to her side because this is clearly evident of something horribly, horribly wrong in society in general. So yeah, do we want to? Might as well just close this out. We've been at it for an hour and a half now. Anything we want to add? Oh, here's something we want to add. This was the year of the T-shirt. There were so many more T-shirts this year than in previous years, and I was talking to one of the developers that I was on a plane with I don't know if I mentioned it, but the developer of Video Ball and I ended up being on the same plane, and we got to talking, and I was saying that I filled up my suitcase with T-shirts, and he said, he goes, there were a lot of T-shirts. He goes, they come in cycles, like a few years nobody gives out T-shirts, and then everybody gives out T-shirts. Everybody was giving out T-shirts. We have a ton of T-shirts, and it's all like The Order, Shadow Mordor, what else? Borderlands, Evolve, all of them had T-shirts. So we are going to put a huge PAX pack together and give it away in probably next week. Probably not this week, but next week we will be giving away a massive PAX pack of all the T-shirts that and all the other swag, and maybe even a code or two that were given to us for games that's coming out. So yeah, we will stay tuned to the website for details. We'll definitely put the details up early on the website. That's at GameHounds.net. And then we will probably be announcing more details next week as things get closer. So, is that it? Are we done?
I think we're done.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's close this out. You have been listening to GameHounds, episode 278, the post-PAX Prime show. We recorded this on September 3rd, 2013. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Holy Gully. Once again, ways to get a hold of us. GameHounds.net is the website. If you ever want to send us an email, it is gamehounds@gmail.com. In addition, if you would ever like to join us live in our chat room, like Jaeger and Heartbreak Ridge and Nick DiNicola and Kevin Fulware and AC Ray, and who else? Kim Boer, Abe, Black Sphere Void. And I think we had a couple of new people, too, and that I can't remember their name. I'm sorry. But, yeah, if you ever want to join us, Spreaker.com. We record on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Join us by signing up for Spreaker.com. Or if you would like to download us later, you can always download us off of Spreaker or go to iTunes. Download us off iTunes.com or iTunes. It's under GameHounds, and you can find us there and download us. If you do that, please leave us some feedback. We love that. Finally, we do have a voicemail line. The voicemail and text line is
304-300-9889.
And once again, stay tuned for next week. We'll have more details on the big PAX Pack giveaway of, more than 20 shirts and bits of swag and little tchotchkes and big tchotchkes and some actually pretty awesome stuff from PAX PAX Prime. All the details will be next week. Do go check the website for early information on that, GameHounds.net. All right, gentlemen, did I forget anything?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. All right, we'll talk to you next week. Bye, everyone.